Hi, today we will discuss about SDLC. So SDLC is nothing but software development lifecycle. So it is the end-to-end process which is followed by in organizations in the application development process. Generally SDLC is divided into some phases. So each phase will be handled by different kind of people and each phase have different output documents. So completion of each and every phase different kinds of documents will be documented and submitted for users of in next phase. So the main phases involved in SDLC is requirement gathering, analysis and design, coding, testing, UAT and maintenance. Now we will discuss each phase in detail one by one, and after explanation I will show you all the documents which are related to SDLC process. So first of all, information gathering is the first phase in SDLC process. So generally information gathering will be carried out by business analyst. They will gather all the requirements either from client or from the market area if they are developing product. So they will gather all the requirements and they will prepare a document. The document is known as BRS, business requirement specifications. Once the BRS is prepared by business analyst people, the BRS will be again divided into SRS document. They will divide BRS document into functional requirements to develop and system requirements to use. The functional requirements document is known as FRS. System requirement document is known as SRS. These documents also generally developed by business analyst people only. Right. Once these documents are prepared, they will review the documents to check whether all the requirements are covered and all the requirements are documented properly without any ambiguity between the words. So once they are satisfied with the review process, they will submit those documents to further phases. So once the BRS, SRS, FRS documents are submitted, the design analysis and designer phase will be started. Generally analysis and designing phase will be handled by system architect level people. Those people will analyze all the requirements of the client and they will prepare what kind of design, means what kind of approach we will have to follow to develop the particular kinds of applications. So once they decide what approach they have to follow, they will design the proper way of documents, like high level designing document, low level designing document. We will discuss one after another. So what is high level document? This document is also known as external design. This document defines hierarchy of all the possible functionalities as modules like classes. Low level design documents. This document is also known as internal design. This document defines structural logic of every submodule. Example: data flow diagrams, ER diagrams, class diagrams, object diagrams. Right. Once designing phase is developed, they will develop a prototype, means like sample model of application without functionality is called as prototype. They will prepare the prototype application and they will review the entire design whether it is fulfilling the requirements which are gathered by business analyst people. So once they are satisfied with the designing documents, they will submit these designing documents to use in further stage, which is coding. Coding will be handled by developers. So developer, after receiving of LLD documents and HLD documents, based on LLD documents they will start coding. So once the coding is done, application will be ready. Once the application will build is ready, it is submitted for further next stage. It is known as testing. So testing will be generally handled by software testers. So software testers will conduct different kinds of testings using like black box testing, functional testing, non-functional testing, performance testing, stress testing, load testing, security testing, database testing. So they will conduct all these kind of testing. Once they satisfied the build is stable and reliable and does not it is fulfilling all the requirements of the client, if they satisfied with all these things, they will release they will say okay to release the build. Now this build is known as application and they will release this application to the client. So once the application is ready to release, the client will approach the organization and he will conduct UAT testing, user acceptance testing. So user acceptance test will be conducted in our organization, means like company, by client people, and they satisfied all the major requirements are fulfilling. It is application is working without any flaws. Sorry, not flow, it's flaws. Without any flaws, they will say okay to release the application. So once we get nod from client, people from our organization will visit client place and they will do installation. So once the application is installed, client will start using the application. So when he is using the application, if he is getting any kind of problems like minor defects, he will report us. The people who is handling maintenance of this project will take care of those defects, and then they will try to fix the defects and they will release patches. So this is the entire process of SDLC, means how we will start a application, how we will end a application. So in this process there are some merits and demerits. So based on requirements of project and based on what kind their project demands, they will add some modifications in SDLCs. So based on these modifications, SDLCs can be further classified as two types. One is sequential models, another one is iterative models. What is sequential model is nothing but, in these sequential models, after completion of one phase only they will start another phase, means the outcome which is generated from initial phase is a input for next phase. So until unless initial phases are completed, we can't start next stage. So this is a main drawback in sequential models, but sequential models are very easy to implement. So these are very popular models. So for example, waterfall model, V model. So we will discuss one by one later. So coming to iterative process, in this process every phase of SDLs, the project will be divided into modules, and each module one by one will go in each phase of SDLC. For example, first they will take a module 1, they will prepare all the requirements for module 1, they will design module 1, then they will code and test, and they will keep aside module 1. Then they will go for module 2 and they will gather all the requirements which is applicable for module 2, and they will design, code, test. Like that they will complete all the modules. So this process is known as iterative methods. Example for this iterative models is Agile model. Nowadays everybody is using Agile Scrum methodology. So but what is the advantage of iterative process? Iterative models are very much capable of handling change request in middle of the development process very effectively, whereas handling change request in sequential model is a little bit difficult, right? But what is the disadvantage of iterative process? Disadvantage of iterative process is it is very much difficult to implement the process. Why? Because when we are dividing into modules, first of all the person who is doing the team who is doing this module division has to be very much careful. So they have to take care which module, which requirements to be developed first, then which requirements to be added next, right? So if it is not done properly, the entire project will go wrong. That's why implementation of iterative processes are very much difficult. But what is the advantage of iterative process is it is very much fast. So parallel development can be possible in iterative process, means At the same time, if they want, they can develop all the modules one by one. So iterative process will handle change request very much effectively. So this is the very basic class about SDLCs. So now we will see about one by one what are the different modules available in SDLCs. I will start them. The very famous SDLC processes are waterfall model, V model, prototype model. These are sorry, first two are sequential models. Prototype is nothing but, in prototype model, when the client does not know exact requirements of his project, first of all they will prepare an example model and they will send it to client, and they will ask you the client to use this one and if they, based on client's input, they will finalize the final requirements and they will start the process. So another two are there, spiral model and agile model. These two are iterative processes. In this agile model is nowadays everybody, nearly 70 to 80 companies are using agile models. In agile model again there are so many methodologies. In all these methodologies, scrum methodology is very much popular. So in later classes we will discuss it one by one. Thank you.